Hello and welcome to the Car Motivators Podcast. I'm Kelly Kleiman, your humble host. Today's guest owns a company I've actually had the pleasure of dealing with just a couple months ago. His company made an online bid for my used Prius that was not only fair, but I had the deal signed and sealed within 36 hours. We did a virtual walk around, drove the car on live video with an app they use so they could see the odometer, and I received a solid offer and it was done in no time at all. And we rarely go to bat for vendors on this particular podcast, but I felt like I need to have Ali on here. The service was fast and painless, no dealership pressure, no lowballing, no bloated recon charges after the fact. Ali Qureshi, founder of Car Tracker, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me on. Appreciate the kind words.
I'm hugely impressed with your business execution, Ali. The competition for used inventory is extremely stiff. Used car values are higher than ever, but you guys have a system and a system that really works. It stands out and it's head and shoulders above the rest. Now, this is my estimation, and I've dealt with Vroom, CarMax, Carvana, CarBrain, and so many others. By the way, I'm not being paid to say this, so let's get into the history right now. When did you launch Car Trackers, and what does the growth look like since inception? Let's not talk about your recent purchase. Let's just, how did it look like up until that point?
So Car Trackers started in 2012. That's when we actually started Car Trackers. I've been in the business since 2007. So I started off just purchasing cars for a dealer. I was buying cars on Craigslist, Auto Trader, just hunting down cars. Got really good on it, got really good at it. So they made me a partner. We quickly, we're doing really well, built a small team, but then we end up parting ways. So in 2012, I went into business with my wife, Kia, and she helped really kind of like structure the business and get it to new heights. So 2012 is when we started Car Trackers. We had a team at one point up to 40 people, up to 40 people. We had like about 20, 25 appraisers that would be all over Southern California, all over Northern California, just literally going from car to car. And that's what we did for about the first 5, 6 years of Car Trackers. When COVID happened, that kind of like shook our world. At that time, we had just implemented some new technology, and we had spent about $100,000 to implement this. And right when we were launching in March of 2020, COVID happened. So it was like a scare for us. We had just invested all this money in technology into our business, and COVID happens. As you know, the used car business, new car sales completely were non-existent in March. Probably the scariest, time in history that I've seen. Nobody was buying cars at the auction. Actually, Manheim closed their doors for a few weeks, and it was just, people thought the world was going to end. At that point, unfortunately, we had to lay off more than half our staff. We ended up keeping a staff of like 13 people. And with that 13 people, we started to implement the video chat because at that time, there was COVID restrictions. You couldn't really meet with people. So, we ended up rolling the dice and built out something on our platform to where we can purchase cars remotely. And that really is what, set us up for success. We started purchasing more cars with less staff. And at the peak of COVID, we were buying about 200 cars a week. So about 800 cars a month. And as you've witnessed the process, it's a very seamless and very easy process. We get customers paid same day, sometimes even within hours, depending on how easy the transaction is and if the customer agrees to the price of the vehicle. And it's been on the up and up ever since.